Medicaid and civil rights legislation in the 60s that helped bring higher level of civilization to our country, and now this legislation, which is going to take us yet another huge step toward a more civil and humane society. This is indeed an incredibly historical accomplishment. And so it is really appropriate that we singularly pull out those people who helped make this happen. We can pull Congressman Driehaus out in this community because he's ours, and we can also pull him out because it was on that Sunday afternoon. Many of us were still on pins and needles that he and his group of very conscientious people with deeply held beliefs and convictions, which they had to deal with as they dealt with the whole set of possibilities in that bill, stepped forward and did the right thing for our communities and for history. It is my honor, as well as pleasure, to introduce Congressman Driehaus this morning. It feels a bit unnecessary. But I think it's well for us when we are honoring somebody to remember and mark from where they came, because it's a part of what makes it possible. Steve, as many of us call him, grew up on the west side of Cincinnati. He's a graduate of Elder High School. He got a bachelor's degree in political science from Miami University and a master's degree in public affairs from Indiana University. So he spent a good part of the formative years of his life in this community and close by. He worked in early years in a joint venture of the United Way of Greater Cincinnati and Xavier University, the Community Building Institute, to help communities do community development projects. I also should say he was not a Vista, but a Peace Corps volunteer in Senegal, I believe, and in earlier years as well, where he was also deeply committed in service. Steve served for 8 years with great distinction in the Ohio House of Representatives. That's where I got to know him. He got into leadership. He was the minority whip in the House in 2005. He was honored several times by the Inquirer as the freshman, I think, rookie legislator of the year, and then later as legislator of the year by several organizations. He served on several important committees, including the very important Finance and Appropriations Committee. And one of the things he did that I've always admired him for the most was he sponsored some legislation that would have required a review periodically of all of these so-called tax expenditures, but really tax loopholes that a lot of special interests get in the legislature, which takes a lot of money out of the coffers that we need in order to pay for necessary services. Steve is in his first term in Congress. He serves on the House Financial Services and Oversight and Government Reform Committees, where he's doing very important work, looking into issues ranging from the infrastructure in our community to the economic problems of the nation, and particularly the mortgage crisis, which he's been so attentive to over time. So it is really my pleasure and my privilege